A tenant in Atlanta is upset after a landlord charged her nearly $1,000 to replace a garbage disposal. And I'm going to tell you exactly why I believe it's the tenant's responsibility. I'm Tony, and this is Real Estate Investing and Landlord News. All right, so I have an interesting article and video for you today, and it's going over the case of a tenant in Atlanta who had a broken garbage disposal, right? And she's pretty upset because guess what? The landlord came out there to fix it and then charged her nearly $1,000 for the repair. And you know what? She was like, well, this isn't right. The landlord should be in charge of the plumbing. The landlord, it's written into the lease that the landlord is responsible for this sort of thing, right? And I'm going to tell you why I believe that that isn't the case, okay? And, it makes a lot of sense when you look at it from the landlord's perspective. So before I get into the article, go ahead, hit the like and subscribe button, maybe leave a comment down below, and let me know what you think, okay? So landlords out there and tenants who also want to reply to this, who do you believe should be responsible for a broken garbage disposal in a house, right? And I'm going to let you know right now, I believe that 99% of the time, it's the tenant's responsibility. And here's exactly why, right? The reason that garbage disposals get broken is almost always the fault of the user. Okay, they put something in the garbage disposal that trashes it. That's kind of similar to if I was to go over and then smash a window out in the house and then be like, well, the landlord needs to pay to replace this. Okay, so in this story, the missing component is who was at fault for the garbage disposal not working. Okay, and now the tenant is going to sit here and talk about the cost of the garbage disposal and the installation, and it seems a little bit high to me, but that's not the real issue. Okay, the real issue is why is the garbage disposal not working? If you broke the garbage disposal by putting bones in there or something that it can't handle, and then burned up the motor, well, guess what? It should be on you to fix it, right? And that sort of stuff is written into my leases. Even though I am responsible for when, like, if there's a mechanical failure and the garbage disposal stops working, that's one thing, right? But if you put a fork in there and then spun it around, or your dog chewed up the electrical cable, guess what? That's on you. Okay, that's not on me. Anyway, like I said, this article, it's coming from WSBTV.com, and it says, woman says landlord charged her nearly $1,000 to fix garbage disposal that cost a fraction of the price. Yeah, and part of her argument is, that it just costs too much. Like, I, let me talk about garbage disposals because I have installed them before. Okay, I paid about $150 for a garbage disposal, and then I put it in myself. I already knew how to do it, so it didn't take me very long to do it. However, if you call a plumber over there to do that sort of work, the plumber's going to charge you a great deal more than than you can do it on your own. And that's why a lot of people just do it on their own. So we don't know who the landlord had called over there, how much they were charging for the installation. We also don't know the quality of the garbage disposal that they put in there. Now, yeah, I paid $150 for mine, right? But I just looked on Lowe's, and Lowe's actually has garbage disposals for over $400. Okay, so maybe the landlord put in a very high end garbage disposal after you done tore up the the other one because it wasn't strong enough. But I don't know that, right? That's missing from this article. Also, like I said, who installed it. But anyway, the article has a video with it, and I'm going to play that for you right now.
I just do not appreciate being blindsided like that.
It's a responsibility Letitia Power says her landlord, Invitation Homes, is absolving themselves from.
$828 for a garbage disposal.
By placing the price tag for a garbage disposal repair onto her.
I probably could have gone and purchased a brand new garbage disposal. So for that price,
I went through her lease and found where it states it's the landlord's responsibility to address plumbing issues. Invitation Homes is one of the largest single-family rental firms, owning hundreds of homes across Metro Atlanta. I called and emailed the company multiple times this week for a comment. They have not returned any of my messages.
I like the convenience of being able to reach out to someone to call and fix things without being
All
charged.
right, you saw the video, man. I get so sick of hearing a lot of these old whiny tenants always complaining about, oh, well, the landlord's charging too much, right? Well, maybe you need to take a better look at that lease, okay? It's probably written into the lease that if you destroy something, that is not the landlord's responsibility. But anyway, let's get into the article. It's a practice rental advocates say needs to end. A Metro Atlanta renter said that not only was she charged, but she was overcharged hundreds of dollars for a garbage disposal repair. Channel 2 investigative reporter Ashley Lincoln learned that the legal advocates are placing a lot of pressure on state and federal officials about the practice. Advocates say more oversight is needed to stop the practice of squeezing money from renters. In this case, a renter was charged nearly $1,000 to fix a garbage disposal that only cost a couple $100s. Letitia Power said her landlord, Invitation Homes, charged her $828 for a garbage disposal. So, right now, just reading that right there, we know that her landlord is Invitation Homes, right? And for those who don't know, that is one of the largest corporate landlords in the entire country. Okay, they own tens of thousands of single family homes, right? I actually own stock in that company. That's part of the reason I know who they are, right? But when you talk about, okay, the landlord is charging too much for the garbage disposal, no, they're not. Okay, they are only passing the cost on to you that they are being charged, right? Now, because they are such a big company, what happens in a lot of cases is contractors know this. Contractors know, hey, these people, they got a lot of money and I'm going to charge top dollar for work that, for the small mom and pop landlords, we're going to charge a lot less for because they're just going to pay it. They're just going to pay it, get the thing fixed, and be done with it, write it off as a repair, and that's it. But the real issue here in terms of how much this costs falls back onto the contractor for overcharging, right? Or the property manager for overcharging, or at least not catching that, hey, this is a tad bit excessive. Okay, if the property manager and the contractor are overcharging, and it doesn't make a lot of sense to me to say, okay, well, this is the landlord's fault. We also don't know, there's other little factors involved, like, was this an after hours call? Okay, did they come in, like, what exactly, what was the reasoning behind this costing so much? Was there special modifications needed in order to install the new garbage disposal? Like, I remember I had a lot of difficulty installing one of my garbage disposals because I was putting it in a house that was built in 1900, and the area underneath the sink, it was very hard to even work in there. So, just imagine, it taking 2 or 3 times as long to install it just because you've got old pipes you got to hook up to, maybe a pipe broke, we don't know all the little factors. That's what I'm trying to say, right? So the installation might have been much more expensive than a standard installation, and it might have been a much more high quality product, and they might have been overcharged. But that isn't the real issue. The real issue is, why was this tenant charged for the work? Okay, so let's continue. I just do not appreciate being blindsided like that, Powers said. I could have gone and purchased a brand new garbage disposal for that price. Powers' lease states that it is the landlord's responsibility to address plumbing issues. Invitation Homes is one of the largest single family rental firms in the city, owning hundreds of homes. Lincoln has called and emailed the company multiple times this week for comment, but they have not returned any of her messages. This is a big company. You're not going to get a comment out of them, right? But when you think about the fact that they say, yeah, plumbing issues are the responsibility of the landlord. Okay, so we're talking about, hey, plumbing issues, stuff is where we have to get the water working again. Now, this is my suggestion for small landlords. Don't even have garbage disposal because they break all the time. Like I said, it's almost always the tenant's fault that these things break. They, put something in there, burn up the motor, and then the thing is just basically useless at that point. Just a straight pipe down, no garbage disposal, in my opinion, is much, much better. So, yeah, I mean, it is what it is, but they are more trouble than they're worth. And, I've had to replace several of them because of the fact that they seem to just get broken all the time. I like the convenience of having someone to come out and fix things without being charged an astronomical absurd fee like I was with this garbage disposal, Power said. Rental legal advocates with Georgia Appleseed said they've seen a number of cases involving large area home rental firms like Invitation Homes that are aggressively increasing costs related to maintenance, repairs, rent, and fees. Well, yeah, there's a good reason for that because of inflation. Okay, everyone, including the big landlords, is suffering under the effects of inflation. It costs us a lot more to get contractors to come out to our properties and do repairs. It costs us a lot of money when we're buying equipment. Like I remember the garbage disposals used to be under $100. Now they're averaging around 150, $200. So the price of everything has increased. The price of labor. It's just our prices go up, we pass those costs on to the tenants. It's pretty simple. So, going back to my initial question, who do you think is responsible for the cost of replacing this garbage disposal? Like I said, the tenant probably is to blame for it being broken. So if she wants a new garbage disposal, she's going to have to pay for it. Otherwise, we can just leave the thing non-functioning there. It's not like the sink doesn't work with the garbage disposal not working. That's one of the big issues right there. The sink is not unworkable. The plumbing in the house is not unworkable. So you have working plumbing, you have working everything except for this garbage disposal. So if you want it replaced, you're going to have to pay to replace it.